Yali Madad.
Alhamdulillah.
Shukr Alhamdulillah. We have gathered here to study the book of healing. Ji, Bismillah kare. Mafi. Before we start, I have received a question actually from the previous point. So let us just resolve that point and then we will continue to read point number 4. So yesterday we talked about verse 58 58 by 22. Shella, do you want to read the translation of 58 by 22, please?
Ji, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. 58 by 22. You will not find a people who believe in Allah and the Last Day having affection for those who oppose Allah and His Messenger, even if they were their fathers, or their sons, or their brothers, or their kindred. Those He has decreed within their hearts faith and supported them with spirit from Him. And we will admit them to gardens beneath which rivers flow, wherein they abide eternally. Allah is pleased with them, and they are pleased with Him. Those are the party of Allah. Unquestionably, the party of Allah. They are the successful. SubhanAllah.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. So in this verse, what we are learning that very clearly in Quran, Allah talks about those people who will have no affection for those who do not have love of the Imam in their heart and the day of Qiyamah. Let it be their family and their friends. And that is what we had talked about in Gyanan, that how Pir has actually taught us that Kutumb Parivar Sajna main sab kuch chhodiya, dil bandhiya sahi su, man tum su jodiya. So exactly same thing is being mentioned. The Quranic words in which we had talked about decorative speech, that Allah has appointed shaitan for every prophet. And we had studied that verse yesterday. That was the verse. From that, there was a question. And which verse was that? Shalla, do you remember? Anyone remembers? We studied it yesterday. We reviewed few verses, right? Nobody can tell me the number? All right, that is 6 by 112. Chapter 6, verse 112. The translation reads, and thus we have made for every prophet an enemy, devils from mankind and jinn, inspiring to one another decorative speech in delusion. This is what the friend was asking. That when we read this verse, it says that every prophet has its own enemy and it has been appointed by Allah. And this friend referred to the articles which were written by Nachis about wisdoms of jihad, in which we, in great detail, continue to talk about carnal soul and how the Prophet had transformed his nafs-e amara. So he did not have shaitan. So if Allah appointed the shaitan for Prophet, Prophet had transformed it. So which shaitan this Quranic verse is talking about? And then what does it mean to have decorative or flowery speech? What does that mean? Is it related to the whispers of shaitan enticing us for the worldly things? So let us clarify a little bit more. You are very right, friend, that uh, Prophet Muhammad had transformed his nafse amara to nafse lawama to the extent to the last stage, which is satisfied soul, nafse mutmainna. Always remember there is a shaitan which is inside us, which we call nafse amara or carnal soul or lower eye or even man. All these are within ourselves, and we fight constantly, being in the war as warriors, being Lashkar of Imam, to overpower, to overcome this carnal soul. But along with that, there is a shaitan which is outside appointed for every prophet according to this verse. And let us take the example of Prophet Adam, for example. Now we do know that as Ismailis, we believe in cycles. And Sayyidina Mansur al-Yamni has given us the name of Adam of previous cycle, and his name was Taqum bin Bajla. When he got Isme Azam from the Imam, he was Mustajib, he was Momin Salih. When he got appointed by Imam as Natik of that time, the shaitan, Iblis, went against him and he did not listen to the farman of prostrating to Adam. And Sayyidina Mansur Yamni also gives the name of the shaitan of that time, and that was Haris bin Marrah. We Smileys, we believe in cycles, and we do know that when we listen to these stories, it is not happening somewhere else, but it is happening in our planet in here. And we are talking about Mominins of Imam, because without Imam's Isme Azam, there is no prophet. So in the story of Adam, when he became Adam, there was enemy appointed for him. And what had happened? The Jamaat at that time, the way our Pir has written the Ginan, that 36 crore kitaba padya, pan bhitar bhed na paya. Shaitan at that time, Iblis at that time, was a learned scholar. He had read 3600,000 books. But he never understood the meaning of true humility or Farman Bardari. Having said that, what we are understanding, what we are realizing, the devil is from mankind as well as jinn. When we refer to jinn, which is invisible, meaning which is inside us, it whispers, we don't see anybody, but there is enticement for the worldly pleasure or worldly things, becoming materialistic and forgetting the life of soul. But then there is a shaitan from mankind as well. Now imagine, just take the example of Iblis, who had read 3600,000 books. He was a learned scholar. So the way he would speak to people, taking them against Adam, how beautiful that speech would be. Decorative and flowery speech, meaning very beautiful, very overpowering, very engaging and interesting, that people, when they would hear shaitan, those who wanted to follow shaitan, the one group was with shaitan and there were very few who were with Adam. Similarly, take the example of Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad, in his time, he continued to praise Maula Ali. We have read so many ahadiths in praise of Maula Ali. But when he passed away, Abu Bakr was the one who announced his khilafat, and he did not acknowledge Maula Ali's imamat. It was after hundreds of years that Shia, those who were Shian Ali, they realized that they have made mistakes. And we do know 12ers, what did they do? They martyred Imam Hussein. Anyways, the story is, the point of learning is that by the time people realized what Abu Bakr had done, and there are books which would call Abu Bakr as Makar. Makar meaning deception, deceiving. And if you have been a student of Islamiyat or Islamic studies, you would read books which would say Hazrat Abu Bakr. The word Hazrat you would use for somebody who you respect. But in reality, when we read Shia Talimat and realize that how he had undermined Maula Ali, that Shia scholar would call that Abu Bakr had done makar, meaning deception. Why are we talking about this? That when this is habit of Allah, that whenever there is a prophet, his shaitan is also assigned. Why Allah does do that? So he can test mu'minins. Do they remain with the zikr? Do they remain in farman bardari of Imam, or they become impressed by this decorative, flowery speech of delusion, of deception, and they give into the whispers of shaitan, insi or jinni? So I hope, my friend, that you have gotten this answer clearly. If you still have questions, do not hesitate and please text Najis. Ji, let us start with today's lesson then.
Yeah, Limadat, we're reading Book of Healing, ebook, page 69.4. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Since divine remembrance is among the additional prayers, nawafil, it is therefore extremely necessary to mention the supreme purpose of it here, so that those who want its everlasting wealth may be sure of its blessed and sacred results and fruits. Thus, it is said in Bukhari, volume 3, 336-37, My servant always seeks my closeness through additional prayers until I love him. When I love him, I become his ear with which he hears, and I become his eye with which he sees, and I become his hand with which he grasps, and I become his foot by which he walks. This law of God is always in force, and the practical models of this supreme bliss are the prophets and awliya, and this is an invitation for every Muslim to follow their practice. Note that the above-mentioned noble hadith is an explanation of the light verse 24/35, that the light of God is an unfathomable ocean in which the heavens and the earth and all that they may contain are immersed. Thus, when a zakir or salik advances step by step and stage by stage towards the special proximity of God, the light of guidance shines upon him, whereby his external and internal senses become illumined and start to work extraordinarily. Thus, such fortunate people enter among the friends of God, and all this is attained through the supreme elixir of divine remembrance.
સુભાનઅલ્લાહ, સુભાનઅલ્લાહ. તો પહેલા આપણે થોડો ગુજરાતીમાં એનો ચર્ચો કરીએ કે આ જે પોઈન્ટ છે એના અંદર નવાફિલ ઇબાદતની વાત કરેલી છે. નવાફિલ ઇબાદત મતલબ વધારાની, જે આપણા ઉપર કમ્પલસરી છે કે 2-3 ટાઈમની દુઆ, 4 રાતની મજલિસ અને દસોન, એના ઉપર એનાથી વધારે જે કરે છે ને એની વાત કરવામાં આવે છે, અને એને નવાફિલની ઇબાદત કહેવામાં આવે છે. અને આ બહુ ખાસ સ્પેશિયલ કિસ્મની ઇબાદત છે. કેમ કે આ ઇબાદતથી ચાહત ઈ છે કે ઇમામની કુરબત, ઇમામની મોહબ્બત, એના જે ફળ છે એ આપણા દિલના અંદર પેદા થાય અને આપણે ઇમામના કરીબ અને કરીબ થતા જઈએ. પૈગંબરની એક હદીસ અહીંયા કીધેલી છે જે આપણે ઘણી વખત સાંભળીએ કે પૈગંબર ફરમાવે છે કે ખુદા કહે છે કે મારો બંદો જે છે ને મારા પાસે નથી આવી શકતો અગર એ નવાફિલની ઇબાદત નથી કરતો. તો આપણે એમ કહીએ કે કોઈ માણસ બરાબર જમાતખાને જાય, દુઆ 3 ટાઈમની પડે, દસોમ પડે અને ચાંદાતની મજલિસ પર અટેન્ડ કરે, ઈ આટલું કાફી નથી, ઇનફ નથી કે ઈ ખુદાના કરીબ આવી જાય. ખુદાના કરીબ જેને જાવું છે એને વધારે કરવું પડશે. જે કમ્પલસરી હોય ને તો બધા કરે, પણ જેને વધારે ઇશ્ક જોઈએ છે, વધારે મોહબ્બત જોઈએ છે, વધારે ઇમામના કરીબ જાવું છે, દીદાર જોઈએ છે, આગળના દીદાર, ઝાહિરી દીદાર તો બધાય કરે, પણ જેને બાતની દીદાર જોઈએ છે, જેને નુરાની દીદાર જોઈએ છે, એને નવાફિલની ઇબાદત કરવી પડશે. તો પૈગંબર ફરમાવે છે કે જે લોકો વધારા પડતાની ઇબાદત કરે છે તો એ લોકોથી છે ને હું મોહબ્બત કરવા માંડું છું. અને પછી એવી મોહબ્બત થતી જાય છે, કેમ કે મોમિન જ્યારે એક કદમ આગળ વધે છે તો ઇમામજી છે 100 કદમ પાસે આવે છે, પણ મોમિન જે આગળ અને આગળ સાલિક હોય એ આગળ અને આગળ વધતો જાય. એક મકામ એવો આવે છે આગળ પહોંચવા બાદ, જ્યારે મોમિને ખૂબ મહેનત કરી અને હંમેશા પાકાઈથી, ચોકસાઈથી, સચ્ચાઈથી ઇબાદત, બંદગી, zikr, ilm, ગિરિયાવઝારી, આમાલની પાકીઝગી બધું કરતો રહે છે, ત્યારે જ એવું એક મકામ આવે છે કે ખુદા ફરમાવે છે કે હું એના કાન થઈ જાઉં છું, હું એના કાન થઈ જાઉં છું જેનાથી એ સાંભળે છે, હું એની આંખ થઈ જાઉં છું જેનાથી એ જોવે છે, પછી હું એના હાથ થઈ જાઉં છું જેનાથી એ પકડે છે, અને હું એના પગ થઈ જાઉં છું જેનાથી એ ચાલે છે. તો આ કેવી વાત થઈ ગઈ કે ખુદા મોમિનના હાથ થઈ ગયો, પગ થઈ ગયો, આંખ થઈ ગયો, કાન થઈ ગયો, તો મોમિન ક્યાં ગયો? મોમિન તો ક્યાં ખોવાઈ ગયું. મોમિનની જગા ખુદાએ લઈ લીધી. હવે એ મોમિન છે કે ખુદાનું નૂર છે કાંઈ ખબર નથી પડતી. કેમ કે એવા ઊંચા મકામ પર એ મોમિન પૂગી ગયો કે પછી એના અંદર એવું જે મોલા ફરમાવે છે ને કલામે મોલામાં મોલા ફરમાવે છે ને કે મેં ઓર તું की दुई की मैं और तू की दुई छोड़, सब एक समझ ऐसा फना हो इसमें जब तू नहीं तब वो सही है. તો એક એવો મકામ આવે છે કે મોમિન અને માણસ, મોમિન અને ખુદાના દરમિયાન કોઈ ફરક નથી રહેતો. આ મિસાલ જે છે, આવી જે કુરબાની જે છે, આવી જે મહેનત જે છે, એ મોમિન ઘણી ઘણી કુરબાની દેવા બાદ હાસિલ કરી શકે છે. નામુમકિન નથી. કેમ કે આપણે જ્યારે મિસાલ લઈએ છીએ તો આદમની મિસાલ આપણા સામે છે કે એક મોમિન માણસ હતો, પણ એ બહુ મહેનત કરી, પોતાના ઇસ્મે આઝમ પર સાચી ઇબાદત કરી, આમાલને પાક રાખ્યા, અને એ એવી રીતે ઇમામની ફરમાન બરદારી કરી, એવી આજીજી કરી કે એના અંદર ખુદાનું નૂર આવી ગયું અને એ પોતે હુદૂદ દીનના દરજાતમાંથી મુસ્તજીબથી ચડતા 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 એ નાતિક બની ગયો. એ નાતિક બની ગયો અને કરતા કરતા પછી ખુદાના સાથે એક થઈ ગયો. તો અહીંયા એક એવી મિસાલ આપણે સામે દેવામાં આવે છે, જેવી ઇમામ સુલતાન મોહમ્મદ શાહ પર ફરમાવે કે તમે ચાહો તો પીર પૈગંબર જેવા થઈ શકો છો, તો આપણે થઈ શકીએ છીએ, પણ એના માટે જે મહેનત છે એ આપણા પર લાગુ પડે છે. જે લોકો મહેનત કરે છે એ લોકોને યકીની વગર આનાકાની એ લોકોને ફળ મળે છે. અને આ ખુદાની આદત છે અને ખુદાની આદત હંમેશા રહેશે. તો આ જે હદીસ છે ને, આની જે હદીસ સમજાવવામાં આવે છે, પૈગંબરે આ હદીસ જ્યારે એ પોતે 24/35 આયાએ નૂરને સમજાવતા હતા ત્યારે આ હદીસ દીધી હતી કે કેવી રીતે નૂર જે છે એ પણ મોમિનના અંદર આવી શકે છે. મોમિન જે ખુદાનું નૂર છે ને એક સમંદરના, ઓશનના સમાન છે, ઠીક છે. અને પછી આપણે જોઈએ છીએ કે આસમાન પણ છે ને જમીન પણ છે. હવે આજે આપણે જે મકામ ઉપર બેઠા છીએ આપણે સમજી ગયા છીએ કે જ્યારે આપણે હેવન્સ કે આસમાનની વાત કરીએ છીએ એ ઊંચા દરજા છે, અને જે જમીનની વાત કરીએ છીએ એબ્સોલ્યુટ જમીન થાય છે એ એક મોમિન હોય છે, અને એના અંદર જે કાંઈ પણ છે એ નૂર છે. પણ એ નૂરની સમજ એવા મોમિનને આવશે કે જે પોતે આખો ને આખો નૂર બની ગયો હશે, તે જ મોમિન આ નૂરને જોઈ શકશે ને સમજી શકશે. એના ઈ મકામ પર પહોંચવા માટે શું જોઈએ મોમિનને? એને ઝાકિર બનવું પડશે. ઝાકિર કોણ હોય? જે zikr કરે છે. આ ચેપ્ટર જે આપણે વાંચી રહ્યા છે એ zikr નું ચેપ્ટર છે જ્યારે એક મોમિને સાલિક સચ્ચાઈથી zikr કરે છે તો એ કદમ બકદમ મંઝિલ બમંઝિલ પોતે ઇમામના સાથે કરીબ અને કરીબ થતો જાય છે. એવા મુકામ આવી જાય છે કે નૂરનો જે સુરત છે એ એના પર્સનલ વર્લ્ડ એને આલમે શખ્સીના અંદર નીકળી પડે છે, આવી જાય છે. પછી એના જે જાહેરી ઇન્દ્રિયો છે એ એવી થઈ જાય છે કે બાતની ઇન્દ્રિય, નુરાની ઇન્દ્રિયો બધા સાથે એક જ થઈ જાય છે. પછી એનું બોલવું જે છે એ ખુદાનું બોલવું થઈ ગયું, એનું જે ટચ કરવાનું છે એ ખુદાના નૂરના જેવું થઈ ગયું. કે મોમિન જે છે પોતાની રિયાઝત અને ઇબાદતથી, પોતાની પાકાઈ અને સાચાઈથી આટલા ઊંચા મકામ ઉપર ભૂગી શકે છે. એની મિસાલ આપણા પાસે છે, આપણા પીરો છે, આપણા પૈગંબરો છે, આપણા નાતિક છે, બધી જે મિસાલો છે ઊંચા દરજા જે હુદૂદ દીનના અંદર છે એ બધી આપણા માટે મિસાલ છે કે જે લોકો બી ખુશનસીબ છે, જે લોકો સાચાઈથી મહેનત કરે છે એ લોકો ખુદાના દોસ્ત બની જાય છે. અને આ કેવી રીતે થાય છે? બહુ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ પોઈન્ટ, સુપ્રીમ એલેક્સર ઓફ ડિવાઇન રિમેમ્બરન્સ જે આપણે વાંચી રહ્યા છે કે દવાએ અક્સીર, એક એવી દવા જેનાથી બધી બીમારીઓ દૂર થઈ જાય છે. આવાવાળી બીમારીઓ, જે બદનમાં છે બીમારીઓ, બધી બીમારીઓ દૂર થઈ જાય છે. તો આ દવાએ અક્સીર, આ શું દવા છે? મારા મોલાની યાદગીરી, એનું નામ, એના નામનો zikr કરવાનો. So this is a beautiful paragraph point which we have studied. Naila has read it for us, that except nawafil ibadat, nobody can get close to Imam. Nobody can get close to Imam. And beautiful example is that when Imam gives us didar, zahiri didar, the whole Jamaat is present. But when a mu'min is salik who is doing honest ibadat with purity of his deeds, with ilmu amal, girya uzari, having knowledge, when a mu'min is salik has all these conditions and walks on it step by step, climbing step by step, when he or she gets batini wa nurani didar, nobody is with them. He or she is alone. They have this didar within their personal world. Nobody comes to know about it. So this is the didar whoever seeks. They are saying they want to do more. And for them, this beautiful glad tiding hadith is being given. When Prophet was teaching, he was explaining the ta'wil and the details of ayah and nur, that how the nur is given to those whom Allah wills. In the explanation of that ayah, this hadith al-Qudsi, was given to Mu'mineen at that time. That very beautifully, whatever Mu'min touches, it is not that Mu'min is touching, but Imam is touching. Whatever he sees, it is as if Imam is seeing. Whatever he hears, as if it is, Imam is listening to. So where is Mu'min here? Mu'min is lost. Where is he gone? And that's why we talked about this beautiful verse, "Main tujh mein ke wo mujh mein." Ye sirre qiyamat hai. Because the moment truly annihilates, merges with Imam, he becomes him. So there is no distinction, and this is the station. This is the station we can say that our peers have reached at. This is the station our Pagambars, our Natikan had reached at. And in today's time, due to the mercy of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah opened the door for each one of us, giving us glad tidings that whoever is honest and sincere meets the condition, they will be able to open up their spiritual, intellectual beings which are within them, Batni and Nurani senses. They all will open up and start working for this Mu'mineen. This Mu'mineen are such as if they are friends of Allah, Awliya and Anbiya. And it is all. Why it happened for them? Because these fortunate people became the friends of Allah. How? Through this supreme elixir of divine remembrance. How important it is to stay in remembrance. And when we talk about supreme elixir, I do want us to remember the definition of it, which we studied in the first paragraph. What is that supreme elixir? It is the medication which treats every and all kind of ailments. It's a remedy of soul. Whatever kind of spiritual internal diseases, it treats everything. It treats everything. This is the power of the name of the Imam. If we have that firm faith in our heart, and that is how when we do ibadat, when we do zikr, remember, must is on everybody. This is not must. This mehfil, this majlis is not for must. It's not for all. Only those who are willing to invest more time. It is always additional sacrifice. Those who are willingly wanting to do more, they are here. And it is to them, this hadith is saying that they will be able to elevate themselves to that level where there is no difference or distinction between the Imam and the Mu'min. It becomes one. And that's why I refer to this verse in Kalam e Maula, right? Maula teaches us, Maula Ali, कि मैं और तू के दो ही छोर सब एक देख. This ability to be able to see one. How do we see that Imam and I are one? I am so sinful, I am so poor, I am so weak. But imagine this weak, poor moment can also elevate in spirituality. Physically, moment remains humble, always says Ghulam of Imam. But in spirituality, they can elevate themselves and they can become one with the Imam. And we have example of our peers. Peer being even a male man, he says, Dasi thaine vinu. Look at their Venti, their Girya Uzari. They were so humble. It was due to their humility, with their knowledge of Quran, Hadith, Faramin, they being Farman Bardar, they being doing the honest ibadat with purity of their deeds, they had elevated themselves to that station, to that rank, to that rutbah, became exalted, became one with Imam, mono reality. All that is possible with supreme elixir. We are understanding why do we need to do zikr? What are the benefits of zikr? And this is what we are learning. Alhamdulillah. Ji.
Point 5. Among the wisdom-filled subjects of the glorious Quran, one is barakat, blessing, which consists of 32 noble verses, which you should study with great pleasure and eagerness. Now, in order to understand spiritual blessings, it would be appropriate to think about the means of material blessings. In order to do so, let us take the example of a mountain, 41 by 10, and rainwater, 50 by 9, which according to the Quran are blessed, Mubarak from the material point of view, and whose blessings always continue. Similarly, we will briefly mention here 3 of the blessed spiritual things: the wise Quran, 38 by 29, the supreme name of God, the Exalted, 55 by 78, and the Holy Prophet, the seal of prophets, 25 by 1, 11 by 73, 19 by 31. There cannot be any doubt for a Muslim that the highly exalted rank of the Holy Prophet is the fountainhead of endless grace and blessings in many senses. Thus, these 3 blessed and sacred things are linked and united with one another, not only in the relation of blessing, but also in many other relations. Therefore, one has to be sure that through the light of remembrance, the realities and recognitions of the Quran and Hadith become clear, and as a result, the remaining ethical, ideological, spiritual, and intellectual diseases of every pious zakir are removed. This is the reason that throughout the wise Quran it is commanded to remember God, and his remembrance is praised in many ways. In particular, his remembrance is praised at the end of Suratul Rahman, the bride and unique mirror of the beauty and majesty of the world of the Quran, whose quintessence is the verse, quote, "Blessed be the name of your Lord, majestic, gracious," unquote, 55/78. This means that the bounties of God, which are mentioned in the entire Quran in detail, are summarized in Surat al-Rahman, and the source and center of all the blessings and bounties mentioned here is the last verse, whose purport is the supreme name of God, the Exalted, which is the means of his remembrance.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Very powerful and long paragraph. So, inshallah, let us first briefly summarize it in Gujarati so friends could be with us. આ પેરેગ્રાફના અંદર એકચ્યુઅલી ઘણા બધા ટોપિકને લઈને ઝિકરની તારીફ કરેલી છે, કેમ કે આપણે ઝિકરની જ બારામાં વાંચી રહ્યા છીએ. તો ખુદા તાલાએ કુરાનના અંદર ઘણા ઘણા હિકમતવાળા ટોપિક્સના બારામાં આપણે કીધેલું છે અને એ ટોપિક્સ દીધેલા છે. તો એમાંથી એક ટોપિક અલ્લામા સાહેબ આપણે કહી છે કે અગર તમે લોકોને શોખ છે વાંચવાનો, સ્ટડી કરવાનો, તો બરકત, આપણે બધાએ ઇમામથી દુઆશીઝ અને બરકતની ખ્વાહિશ કરતા હોઈએ છીએ. તો બરકત એક ટોપિક છે જે કુરાનના અંદર છે અને આપણે સ્ટડી કરવી જોઈએ, કેમ કે આપણે કુરાનના સ્ટુડન્ટ છીએ. તો એ જે છે 32 ટાઈમ્સ કુરાનના અંદર બરકાત કે બ્લેસિંગ્સ દીધેલું છે. તો એ આખી એક સ્ટડી થઈ જશે અને એના સ્ટડી કરવાથી ઘણી બધી રૂહાની બરકતો આપણે મળશે, આપણું દુનિયાવી અને દીની પણ ફાયદો થશે. પછી ફરમાવે છે કે 41/10 ના અંદર માઉન્ટેન મેન્શન કરેલું છે અને પછી 50/9 ના અંદર વરસાદની વાત કરેલી છે. તો આ બધી ચીજો જે છે ખુદાએ કુરાનના અંદર દીધેલી છે અને આ બધી વર્સિસના અંદર એકચ્યુઅલી બરકાત મેન્શન છે અને આપણે ડિસ્કસ કરશું. પણ બ્રીફલી તમને સમરાઇઝ કરીને બતાવ્યા પછી આપણે કુરાનની વર્સિસ વાંચીએ કે આ બધી ખુદાની રહેમત છે અને ખુદાની રહેમતનો સિલસિલો હંમેશાથી ચાલતો આવી જ રહ્યો છે. ક્યારે પણ ખુદાની રહેમત બંધ નથી થતી, કેમ કે એ દીન દુનિયાનો માલિક છે અને એની રહેમત જે છે એ લાજવાબ, બેમિસાલ છે, ક્યારે પણ ખતમ નથી થવાની અને ક્યારે પણ આપણે એની તારીફ કે શુક્રગુજારી કરી નથી શકતા. આ પેરેગ્રાફના અંદર 3 ચીજોની વાત કરવામાં આવી છે. કઈ 3 ચીજો? રૂહાની 3 ચીજોની બહુ બ્રીફલી વાત કરવામાં આવી છે. એક તો કુરાન ચોપડી જે છે એની વાત કરવામાં આવી છે અને એનાથી રિલેટેડ કુરાનિક વર્ડ્સ છે અને ખુદાનું બહુ મોટું નામ જે આપણે વાંચશું અને પછી પેગમ્બરના બારામાં પણ આપણને બતાવેલું છે. તો 3 ચીજો, ચોપડી, ખુદાનું નામ અને પેગમ્બરની ઝાત, પર્સનાલિટી ઓફ ધ પ્રોફેટ, એ 3 ચીજોના બારામાં આપણને કુરાનિક વર્સિસના થ્રુ આપણે બતાવવામાં આવેલું છે. અને એમ કહેવામાં આવે છે કે કોઈ મોમિન માણસ હોય એને આ ચીજમાં શક નથી થઈ શકતું કે ખુદા જે છે ને કઈ કઈ માનોમાં, કઈ કઈ તરીકાથી એ આપણને બરકાત આપે છે, એ આપણને હિદાયત આપે છે, એ આપણા તરફ નૂરને મોકલે છે. અને કેનાથી રિલેટ કરે છે કે ચોપડી પણ છે, પર્સનાલિટી પણ છે અને ખુદાનું મોટું નામ પણ છે. આ 3 અલગ અલગ ચીજો દેખાય છે. કુરાનિક વર્સિસ 5-6 છે, પણ મકસદ શું છે કે આ બધી ખુદાની બરકાત છે જે મોમિનો ઉપર આવે છે, બધું ખુદાનો નૂર છે જે મોમિના તરફ આવે છે. જે મોમિનીન ઇલ્મ જ્ઞાનમાં ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ લે છે એ લોકો ઇલ્મુલ યકીનના મકામ ઉપર આ બધી અલગ અલગ જાતની બરકાતને સમજે છે અને જ્યારે એ સમજે છે ને તો એના અંદરથી શુક્રગુજારી આવે છે, એના અંદરથી પછી આજીઝી આવે છે કે મારા ખુદાએ મારા પર આટલી રહેમત કરી છે, આવી રહેમત અને આ રહેમત અને આ રહેમત પણ કરી છે એ મારા બારામાં મારા કરતા વધારે મારી સંભાળ માટે વિચારીને મારા માટે રહેમત દીધેલી છે. આવા બધા જજ્બાત જે છે પછી મોમિનના અંદર એ પેદા થાય. તો આ ત્રણેય ચીજો જે આપણે વાત કરી કે ચોપડી છે, પૈગંબરની ઝાત છે અને ખુદાનું મોટું નામ છે, આ બધી ત્રણેય ચીજો બહુ મુબારક નામ છે અને આ બધી રિલેટેડ છે બરકાતથી. અને જ્યારે આપણે બરકતની વાત કરીએ તો બરકત તો આપણને ઇમામના તરફથી આવે છે. તો ઇમામના તરફથી બરકાતની જે તરીકા છે એ અલગ અલગ છે, અલગ અલગ છે. તો હર નૂરને ઓળખવાનું હોય છે. ખુદાનું એક નામ છે નૂરુલ અનવાર, કે નૂરના બી ઘણા બધા અનવાર છે. પ્લુરલ જે છે અનવાર, નૂર સિંગ્યુલર છે. તો નૂર પણ નૂરુલ અનવાર છે. તો બધીની ઓળખ કેવી રીતે આપણને આવે? જ્યાં સુધી આપણા પાસે ઇલ્મ નહીં હશે આપણે ઓળખી નહીં શકશું. તો જ્યારે આપણે નૂરને ઓળખીને જ્યારે zikr કરીએ, પોતે કુરાનનો હદીસનો ઇલ્મ હાસિલ કરીએ, તો એનો રિઝલ્ટ શું થાય છે કે જ્યારે એક મુત્તકી, એક રાઇચસ, એક સાચો, એક પાકો મોમિન જે હોય છે ને, જ્યારે એ આ ચીજો સમજીને zikr કરે છે તો એના અંદરથી જેટલી અનએથિકલ ચીજો છે, ઇખલાકી બીમારીઓ છે, આઈડિયોલોજીકલ નજરિયાતી ખોટા વિચાર છે એના મગજના અંદર જે છે બધાય વયા જશે. જેટલી રૂહાની બીમારી છે, અકલાની બીમારીઓ છે, એ બધી વહી જશે. કન્ડિશન શું હતી કે આપણે ઓળખા ઇલ્મના મકામ ઉપર ખુદાને, એની ચોપડીને, એના પૈગંબરને, એના મોટા નામને ઇલ્મથી ઓળખા અને પછી આપણે zikr સમજીને કર્યું તો હર જાતની બીમારી જે છે એ આપણા અંદરથી નીકળી જશે અને આપણે બરકતને પામશું, એના નૂરને, એની રહેમતને પામશું. અને એની તારીફ જે છે બહુ બ્યુટીફુલી સૂરા રહેમાનમાં કરેલી છે. સૂરા રહેમાન આપણે ખબર છે કે કુરાનની દુલ્હન કહેવામાં આવે છે. કેવી અજીબ વાત છે ને, કે ચોપડી છે, ચોપડીની માં જે છે એ સૂરે ફાતિહા છે, જે આપણે દુઆના અંદર વાંચીએ 3 વખત. પણ આ કુરાન એવી અજીબ ગરીબ કિતાબ છે કે એની દુલ્હન પણ છે અને એની દુલ્હન જે છે એ સૂરા રહેમાન છે. અને આ કાનૂન છે, કુલ્યો છે કે કુરાનના અંદર અગર આપણે ખજાના ગોતતા હોઈએ ને તો કુરાનના અંદર જે ચેપ્ટર્સ હોય ને, ચેપ્ટરના આખીરના અંદર જે છેલ્લી વર્સ હોય ને, એના અંદર ઘણા બધા સિક્રેટ્સ, ઘણા બધા રાઝ હોય. તો અહીંયા જે વર્સ રેફર કરેલી છે એ છેલ્લી વર્સ છે અને એના અંદર કહેવામાં એમ આવે છે કે આખા કુરાનના જરિયેથી જેટલી બી આપણને બ્લેસિંગ્સ, બરકાત મળેલી છે એ બધી એ વર્સના અંદર આવી જાય છે. એટલે કે કુરાન જે એ વર્સ ચેપ્ટર જે છે એ દુલ્હન છે, એ ચોપડીનો દુલ્હન છે. અને દુલ્હન તો કેવી મહાન, કેટલી રૂપાળી ને કેટલી સારી ને કેટલી આપણા માટે આપણે જોતી હોય. દુલ્હનની બ્યુટી તો કેવી બ્યુટી, રાઈટ? બધાને દુલ્હન જોવી હોય, બધાને દુલ્હન સારી લાગતી હોય. પણ અહીંયા ઇલ્મની દુલ્હનની વાત થઈ છે. ઇલ્મની દુલ્હન જે મોમિન છે, જે ઇલ્મના આશિક છે, એ લોકોને જોવી. એ લોકોને આ સમજાવવામાં આવે છે કે જે છેલ્લી વર્ષ છે એના અંદર રાઝ છુપાયેલા છે. બધી રહેમત જે છે એ છેલ્લી વર્ષના અંદર એનું નિચોડ જે છે ને એના અંદર દીધેલું છે. અને શું છે એમાં ખુદાનું બહુ મોટું નામ છે. તો હવે આપણે શું કરશું કે એક એક કુરાનિક વર્સને લઈને આપણે એને સમજશું. So this is a beautiful paragraph that in this paragraph what we are learning is wisdom-filled subjects of the glorious Quran. There are very many wisdom-filled subjects, unlimited I would say. But one of the subject is definitely barakat, and Allama Sahib is telling us that it is mentioned 32 times, and he's encouraging us to do that study. Find all those verses where blessings or barakat has been mentioned, and he says if you were to undertake this study, you will be blessed, not only spiritually but materially too. You know, when we progress in the material life, we would say, oh, materially we are now comfortable, we live very well, but it does not benefit as per se our spiritual life until we don't do anything for that progress in that life. But when we progress, when we work hard, when we sacrifice in our spiritual progress, it also helps our material life. How strange is that? Those barakats are so powerful that it helps us in our physical life as well. So that is what he's saying, that if you were to undertake that study, you will be blessed not only spiritually but materially as well. And then he's giving us the example of the verse 41/10, and it mentions mountain. So Jishala, let's read the translation and see what does it say.
41/10. And he placed on the earth firmly set mountains over its surface, and he blessed it and determined therein its sustenance in 4 days without distinction, for of those who ask.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. So the focus in this verse is blessing. Blessing where? He placed on the earth firmly set mountains. Remember, the allegory of the earth is actually about Mu'min, Mustajib, the one who is starting seeking knowledge. When the Mu'min Salik is firm, what happens? Mountain over its surface, and he blessed it and determined therein its sustenance in 4 days without distinction for those who ask. So Mominin, the Mustajibeens, are those who do ask for elevation, and for that they seek knowledge. They walk on the path of learning the knowledge. When they start learning the knowledge, we have learned this parable that mountain is an allegory used for intellect. A moment is Salik, when we look at our own being, the intellect is the topmost part. The head has the brain. And this is the part which is the highest part of our being. And this is an allegory which is used in the form of mountain, that mountains are tall, big, strong, powerful. But the meaning, the tawil of the mountain is our intellect. So those who ask for elevation, those who work hard, they are sent barakat, blessings. And they are given sustenance. Sustenance meaning khorak, tarakki di, unko nourish kiya. Within 4 days. Now 4 days has very many tawilat. 4 days can also be our 4 pagambers, Prophet Muhammad, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, and Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Because these 4 pagambers, Prophet, Natik, according to Aya Istafa, are from the chosen family. Allah chose Adam, Noah, family of Ibrahim, and family of the Imran. So family of Ibrahim and family of the Imran, there are 4 Natikan from that family, which is Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, and Prophet Muhammad. So these 4 Pagambers, when they have come, to do what? To help people, to guide people so they can bless them. Blessed how? Through knowledge, through their tawilat and tanzilat. So Mominin can elevate. How? Get to the intellect. Open up their intellect. What is there at the intellect level? Bhamar Gufa, Haziratul Quds, right? So when we are able to get to that level of raising the Isme Azam and making it Ajampi Ajab and reach to Haziratul Quds, that is the maqam of intellect. That is the station of intellect. That is where we will be able to recognize all the secrets of Imam. These 4 can also be Aklekul, Nafsekul, Natik, and Asas. So there are very many tawilat for these 4. 4 days, when we are looking at that, it is 4 days of the Prophet. It can also be Natik, Asas, Aklekul, Nafsekul. So remember, there are very many tawilat. But with the days, we are very comfortable to remember these 4 days that Natiks were sent to help us out to elevate spiritually. Why? We are studying the Barakat. Barakat, where is it coming from? It is coming from the zikr. So keep the relationship in mind. Do not forget and absorb these Quranic verses, which are so beautiful and exciting to realize that how merciful is Imam. How does he help us? We are just doing zikr. We don't even realize that zikr can reach so high. It is so powerful. How beautiful it is when we understand and do the zikr, we are able to get all the barakat, all the bounties. Alhamdulillah. G. Next verse, 50/9.
50/9. And we have sent down blessed rain from the sky, and made grow thereby gardens and grain from the harvest.
Subhanallah. आसमान से बारिश गिरती है. And we do know that barish is actually pure water. When we relate this rain with pure water, we can say actually that if the water is tawil, then rain is the purest water, which is the highest tawilat, which are received in the time of Qiyamah. And we are so blessed. We are blessed, barakah, that we are getting the pure water from the sky. And that is atai ilm, given knowledge in the heart of Arif Kamil. And through that, we are also able to grow and get into those gardens, beautiful gardens where there are barakat. While we are living physically, which garden are we entering into? When we are studying this, book full of ta'wil, full of understanding, I hope that each one of us feels this happiness. We have been doing this zikr. We just did this zikr. Is this the blessings of the zikr? Oh, I want to do more zikr. I want to remember my Imam with full of my heart. That is the blessing and the beauty of reading this Tawili knowledge and these, understanding of the Quranic verses to help us realize, visualize that we are truly sitting when the rain is pouring down on us, meaning we are receiving the blessings day and night. Those who are mindful, those whose eyes are open, they will be able to see this rain and get wet with it. Love the rain, know the rain, recognize the rain. If there is no awareness, zikr is of tongue and that is it. But those who are with understanding, use their intellect, their zikr is very powerful. What does it say in the Ginan? Tere murtyum lokma par surati akashe jahire. That's the beauty. They do zikr here. But these mu'mineen, when they do zikr, their dhyan is connected to the alam-e-amr, the world of command. It immediately connects. That is the beauty of mu'mineen. Those are mustajibeen, those who are learning the knowledge. G. Now we are going to study those three things which are being mentioned here. And first is the book. And the verse is 38/29. So let's see what does it say.
38/29. A blessed book which we have revealed to you, that they might reflect upon its verses, and that those of understanding would be reminded.
Subhanallah, very simple verse. Blessed is the book, which is the Quran, which was revealed to Prophet Muhammad. Those who reflect upon verses. Who are those who are going to reflect upon? Ulul albab, those who have intellect. And we all have been given this brain, but our intellect was opened up when we went to worldly school colleges. We started to learn the worldly knowledge. That has helped us today to read these books. The reason we had this education, and Imam says that you have to study not for the selfish purpose, but to understand Allah's creation. Right now, what are we doing? We are understanding Allah's creation. Who is the creation? Us. The barakat has been sent for us, but we have never reflected on it. So right now, what we are doing is actually farman bardari of Imam, because we are understanding what does the rain mean? What does this book mean? What does the mountain mean? This is creation. But we are understanding the ta'wil of this creation so we can benefit from it. Subhanallah, subhanallah. So let's review the next verse, 55/78.
55/78. Blessed is the name of your Lord, owner of majesty and honor. Subhanallah.
Subhanallah. So let's read the transliteration too. It says, Tabaraka asmu Rabbika Zuljalali wal Ikram. We do say this tasbih, right? Zuljalali wal Ikram. sometimes when we transliterate and it says D, because in Arabic there is no Z word Z. In Gujarati, we all can say it actually, but you would hear funny pronunciation. This word is Zal Jalali wal Ikram, and this is a powerful name of Mawla. We say it in dua as well. And so when we studied in this paragraph that the first is book, second is his exalted name. This is the name, so powerful name. And in our second part, you know how amazing is that in our zikr we said this part from the dua, Zal Jalali wal Ikram, that we are seeking, oh, the honor of the majesty and honor. We are seeking his help. He's so powerful, strong. Blessed is that name. So if we remember him, the name which is blessed, we get the barakah. How beautiful it is, this realization that in every zikr we do, there is a beauty attached to it. There's a love of Imam attached to it. And there is so much barakat attached to it for us in every aspect of our lives. Subhanallah. Ji. Now let's do the next, which is about Prophet Muhammad, 25 by 1.
25 by 1. Blessed is he who sent down the criterion upon his servant, that he may be to the worlds a warner.
Subhanallah. So this, if you were to look at the transliteration, there are a few words which we do know. Number one is Furqan, Lil Alamin Naziran. Naziran, the word Nazir is actually to warn. That Allah has sent down Furqan for us, the criterion is actually Furqan, upon his servant, that he may be to the world a warner. Our prophets, when we look at the hadith, Quranic verses, or even Ginan, that they warn us that please be mindful, stay awake, do not be sleeping, meaning do not be mindlessly living your life. Stay awake, because you do have to give your accounts. It is one of the role of the prophets that they have to warn us, they have to remind us that remember, this physical life is not just for fun and pleasure. It is for seeing the truth, recognizing the Imam, finding who ourselves. Man arfa nafsihi faqad arfa rabbihi. The one who recognizes themselves will recognize the Lord. And that is the objective which we have to meet. So blessed is he who sent down the Furqan. Furqan is actually name of the prophet. Our prophet, one of the name is Furqan. Furqan is also name of the Quran. So the word Furqan, which is criterion, that is what is emphasized. That Allah has sent to us Furqan in the form of a book, as well as the living personality, Prophet Muhammad. To do what? To bless us. How? By warning us, so we be guided. We do not miss out on the opportunity. Man ka janam so kahe ko hota hai, right? That's a warning. We've been reminded, warned that we have not come to this world to do nothing, to just play and have children and live our life and die. No, that's not the objective. There's much more which needs to be done by mu'mineen, those who are willing, who are salikin, willingly coming forward. Alhamdulillah. So let's review the next verse, 11 by 73.
11 by 73. They said, Are you amazed at the decree of Allah? May the mercy of Allah and his blessings be upon you, people of the house. Indeed, he is praiseworthy and honorable.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. I love to look at the transliteration too. So those who have Quran open up, it is such a beautiful verse. And those who know a little bit of Urdu, even Gujarati, you can identify the word. See what it says. Kalu at tajbeen ta'ajjub. That they say that are you amazed by the command of Allah? Tajub ho raha hai tumko? Hairat ho rahi hai tumko? Then he says, Min amrillahi rahmatillahi wa barakatuh. We all know these words. We hear this very commonly. And then it says, Alaykum ahl al-bayt. Innahu Hamidun Majid. All these words are familiar to our ears. Alhamdulillah that they are surprised, they are in ताज्जुब, हैरत में है और कहते हैं कि क्या खुदा हम पे रहम करने वाला है, बरकत भेजने वाला है। किस तरह से? अहले बैत की सूरत में। वही है जो तारीफ के काबिल है, हमीदुन मजीद। Now this word Majid, honorable, it's also name of the Quran, it is also name of the Prophet. Again, here, who are we talking about? The personality of the Prophet. Following him, following his guidance, we are getting the barakat. I think we'll skip the next verse because time is kind of going. So let us, those who are truly interested, I would say please read these beautiful verses because it talks about the blessed, the word barakat, and how when we are doing zikr, it helps us to get the blessings. And then towards the end, this paragraph actually talks about how these three things, meaning the book of Allah, the Prophet's personality, and the name, his exalted name, the Azal Jalali wal Ikram, all these are interconnected for those mu'mineen who are seeking the blessings. And due to these blessings, what will happen? They will get to the recognition of all the sublime realities and recognition. How? Through their divine remembrance, because it will help them, it will treat them as supreme elixir. And then definitely there is a mention of Surah Rahman, which is the bride of Quran. And in every chapter of Quran, the last verse is very important because many times the essence of that verse, the secret of that chapter is actually given in the last verse. And here it mentions 55 by 78. Chapter 55 being the bride of Quran, the last verse says, "Blessed is the name of your Lord, Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram," the same verse which we studied. And that name we do say so beautifully in our zikr, right? Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram, we even say it in our dua. This name, this supreme name of Imam, who is Zal Jalali wal Ikram, the generous and Karamat Kamali, it is mentioned in Surah Rahman for us to realize that our Mawla is so Rahman, Rahim. He is the honor of majesty. Sometimes when we read this big word, how do I comprehend how he is majestic? How do we understand that? And there was a time when I would say, give example that, in olden movies where kings and queens are shown and how they are respected in the court, that gives us a glimpse. Oh, these are worldly, majestic people. But you know what? I'm going to change the example because with life you experience more. Imagine yourself in the middle of the ocean. Anywhere you see, it's just ocean. At that time, you realize you're being a tiny being, smaller than a dot in front of the whole ocean. Or say you are under a mountain. Mountain is big, huge, and you are nothing in standing below that mountain. That is the majesty. Now this is the worldly things, worldly ocean, worldly mountain. Now imagine when we are witnessing this majesty in our ibadah. What would be our state of mind? How overwhelmed we would be with gratitude, with amazement. We will be bewildered. How beautiful he is. How powerful he is. We will have no words to describe his praise. And that is why Pir says, Gunge sapna paya, chaki kar bakya. You just cannot describe what you see, what you feel, what you realize. These are the blessings which are given to those mu'mineen who have decided to spend time in divine remembrance. Because it is the divine remembrance which is the supreme elixir. We all seek healing. Remember the reason we are here? We want that healing internally, externally, so we can be one with our Imam. That is our desire. So let us end here. I would encourage you to read all the Quranic verses and the paragraph. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to send answers. Ji. Thank you.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. It's a beautiful understanding that when we hear all of this, that zikr is what we have been talking about it since COVID started, and it resonates with everyone, I feel. But still, we miss so much depth that it is important for us to understand the zikr at such a higher level to be able to practice that same zikr on a higher level, where it reaches as a supreme elixir. Right. So thank you so much for this beautiful understanding and so much of Quranic references to support the whole concept. It was amazing. One of the friend actually has a question. It's an interesting question. It's from yesterday's session, and friend says, how do we know that it is shaitan who is taking us away from Allah, or is it angels who are testing us? And the friend is giving the example of, you do mention that moments need to go under test, right, to be able to elevate the ranks. So the friend is giving the example of how at times we feel very tired and make excuses during ibadah time when we have to get up. It could be angels testing us, or is it just shaitan at play?
Okay. So let's take the example, because if you are wanting to wake up at ibadat time and you for some reason feel lazy and do not want to get up, that is not angels. That is laziness. And laziness is due to shaitan. There is no doubt about this example actually. Whenever we are going away from the name of the Imam, it is due to shaitan. It is due to the deeds which are being done during the daytime, which were not in the right direction. So what had happened, that the strength to wake up in the morning and sit in ibadat is not there. Why? Because during the daytime, there was a slavery of shaitan. Intentionally, unintentionally, whatever we did was to weaken the angels and strengthen the shaitan, the carnal soul within us. There will be laziness in ibadat. On the contrary to that, opposite of that, if you were to be doing zikr the whole day, make sure that the deeds are pious and we are not thinking bad, we are being ethical, all that which we've been talking about, when we do that, when we feed our angels in the morning, without you, remember we talked about that alarm has not even, rang and you're awake, and then you witness alarm ringing. That happens when you have fed your angels. When you have fed your angels, it will help you wake up, have the strength of getting up, sitting up. Otherwise, definitely, shaitan will give 110 excuses that no, you should not be waking up in the ibadah. It is okay to take rest and sleep. So there's a very clear-cut distinction. There's no doubt about it, actually. Now, on the other hand, if somebody is sick, please remember that if God forbid, if somebody is sick and they have ill health and they cannot because of their illness, Mola accepts. Even if you're in the bed, if you're able to do, ibadat while lying down, that is also acceptable and good. Do not skip ibadat. I hope this helps.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Friends, if you have any other questions, you can come forward, or if you have comments, you can come forward. While friends are thinking, I was thinking when you were mentioning this example right now, it's like if you haven't fed your soul during the daytime, it is going to show the symptoms at night. Because when we are not waking up, it's our laziness because we haven't fed more to our body than to our soul. So that's a very good pulse check for us as moments or walking on the path of being a
So
moment solid.
definitely, yeah, you're absolutely correct. So definitely when we are talking about carnal soul, we think that we are feeding from outside. Oh, I didn't eat the dinner. I wasn't eating, I'm eating less. I'm not sleeping too much, or I am not talking too much with the examples we give. But if you did do that, but if you didn't do the zikr, then only it's incomplete work. When you do incomplete work, or your thoughts were bad, though you were, starving the carnal soul, but on the other hand, you were listening to the whispers of shaitan, then whatever work you did this side is lost, because shaitan entered from the other direction. You tried to control it from one direction, but you kept some doors open, ears open, thoughts left, on its own, not controlled with the zikr. So shaitan entered from different directions. And shaitan, the way we studied, right, the way he talks, decorative and flowery speech, he is the best friend of ours. But you have to have this ability to distinguish that he is the enemy, but the way he's going to come to us, he cares about us the most. But we have to go past through that to be able to identify that no, that's not the truth.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. So we have to have our raincoat and our umbrella, as Sultan Mahmud Shah mentioned.
Subhanallah.
Friends, if you have any comments, you can come forward.
Yeah, Mother.
Alhamdulillah.
One question, like something upset me, like when I'm not regular in my Baitul Khayal, and I feel what is the use of going in this, Nurani, Fidai, that I feel personally like that you should be too much punctual in your Baitul Khayal first, then you think of that. How you explain this? Thank you.
So there are different ways of explaining. Number one, I want to say, my dearest sister, you are a momina, because momin always feels ashamed. They always want to do better. All these majalis are voluntary, and potentially Imam has allowed us to enroll in these majalis so we can, through the zikr ibadat, through realization that we are going somewhere very special, we will have this ashamed feeling in us, and we will improve ourselves, and we will be mindful of our deeds and all, which we have been talking about. And due to that, some who are truly seekers, just like you, my dear sister, the way you are feeling the pain and the way you are feeling the regret or ashamed, that what is the use if I miss the bandagi and I go to this big majlis? How am I a good person? Am I a good moment or not? So I would say you are a good moment. If you are here and this is your humility that you are talking about it, you are a good person, you are a good moment. Is there a need for improvement? 100%. 100%. So yes, we all make mistakes, we all fall off the wagon, but if we are in remembrance, if we are keeping up with seeking knowledge, we will not be very long, away from the path. जब शैतान की बाजी आती है तो हम रास्ते से गिर जाते हैं, हट जाते हैं, लेकिन एक मोमिन है वो बहुत जल्दी से फिर रास्ते पे आ जाता है. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि जो लोग रास्ते से हट जाते हैं वो सालों बरसों खो जाते हैं, उनके फिर उनको एहसास होता है कि रास्ते से भटक गए हैं. लेकिन एक मोमिन ऐसा होता है जो एक दिन, एक घंटे में उसको एहसास होता है, नहीं नहीं नहीं, आई एम नॉट डूइंग राइट, ये गलत कर रहे हैं, वो फिर रास्ते पे आ जाता है. तो गलती तो होती है, तो अपने आप को थोड़ा जो है वो काइंडनेस के साथ जो है वो ट्रीट करें. काइंडनेस का मतलब ये नहीं है कि अपने आप को पैम्पर करना है और सुस्त बनाना है. अगर हम देखें, सबको अपना दिल की जो हालत है ना वो सब जानते हैं, कोई और नहीं पहचान सकता है. लेकिन एक चीज जो बहुत ज्यादा सुनाई देती है, क्योंकि हमारे अंदर ये हम बहुत क्रिटिकल है ना अपने लिए, कि हम अपने आप को बहुत सख्ती से देखते हैं. तो इस सख्ती में क्या होता है कि हम अपनी अच्छाई को देख नहीं पाते हैं और बुराई को देखते हैं, और हमेशा गिल्ट में, दुख में अपने आप को बुरा कहते रहते हैं. तो ये एक तरीका है अपने आप को आगे बढ़ाने का, लेकिन अब ये तरीका जो है वो इतना अच्छा नहीं है, क्योंकि इससे नाउमीदी आती है, इससे दुख आता है. तो इसके बजाय तरीका ये होना चाहिए कि हाँ, मैंने गलती की है, लेकिन अब मैं दोबारा ऐसा नहीं करेंगे. और अपने आप को हिम्मत देनी है और इल्म से, अमल से, जिक्र से अपने आप को आगे बढ़ाना है। ना कि ये कहना कि भाई मजलिस में जाने का तो कोई फायदा नहीं है, सुबह इबादत तो मिस की। नहीं, हर अच्छा काम करना चाहिए, अगर हम कर सकते हैं तो करना चाहिए, क्योंकि किस अच्छे काम से, किस मौला की रहमत से, कहाँ से कोई बरकत आके हमें हिम्मत आ जाएगी। हिम्मत क्या है कि अपने आप को जिक्र में रखना है, अपने आप को इल्म के साथ रखना है, ताकि हम जो है वो रास्ते से भटक ना जाए। तो आई होप दिस हेल्प्स माय डियर सिस्टर, दैट what you're saying, I understand you, but I hope that I've answered you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Shukran.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Thank you, Niamat Saba, for a wonderful session. Friends, if you have any questions related to these two sessions, please go ahead and you can send a message to Nachis or Niamat Saba. And thank you, Niamat Saba, for a wonderful session. And Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad, thank you for all your support and being here. Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Yani madam.
Ya Ali
Yeah,
Madad.
leave it
Madad.
Ya limadad, ya limadad. Thank you.
Shukran Mola. Ya Ali Madad.
Thank you, Yalmada.
Very thank you for that.
Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad, Niamat Saba.
Ya Limadad.